Hello, my name is David Anstey. I'm Global Head of Life Sciences at YarcData. I have a background in molecular biology, and I've been selling science for 20 years. And I've seen new technologies come and go that really help advance people's research. And most recently, I'd like to talk to you today about graph analytics and what it brings to the industry and how it's going to change the way people use their data, gain knowledge from their data, and the speed at which they can find new discoveries. Whether a researcher, has a hypothesis, they want to test it, and it takes 6 weeks to do it, or get answers back, only to find out there's tweaks to be made, and they have to redo it a number of times before they can actually record a new discovery or look at their data differently. And actually, many times they give up on that hypothesis to go on to the next one because the time to test it, they just don't get it quick enough. Alternatively, when I talk to the VPs of research informatics, their goals are to really deliver value to the business. And as much as the researcher doesn't like to have a decision or an answer back in 6 weeks, they don't like giving them back in 6 weeks. If they can give answers back immediately, everybody wins. And in conversations I've had with our customers, there are a lot of new challenges facing them today. They're trying to get much more knowledge or value out of their data, and they have to find unknown relationships in the data to advance disease research, for example. So we've seen the advent of new technologies, next-gen sequencing. We've seen just the volume of data grow exponentially, gene expression data, protein expression data, et cetera. And what we want to be able to do is find the unknown relationships in that data so we can advance our understanding of disease research or look at gene-drug interactions. And so primarily, depending on where you are in the industry, if you're a pharma or biotech, what you really want to do is look at things like drug repurposing opportunities. Drugs that are coming off patent, is there a new target for them? And how can I get that to market really quickly to make a difference for patients and for my business? In the case of academic research centers, again, you're using translational research to advance your disease understanding and help find new molecular targets to help patients in your network in your research hospitals. But also, more importantly, you want to turn the paradigm around and invite investment from pharmaceutical companies into your institution because you have a much better understanding of the patients that you have available for a specific disease area. And so therefore you can target oncology research or cardiovascular research or neurodegenerative diseases and really invite investment into your organization. Specifically for payers, there's an impact for fraud detection, obviously. If we can detect fraud, we can eliminate that from their business and impact their bottom line. But I think more importantly, the biggest costs to a payer is actually drugs that don't work for patients, and they're the non-responders. And the idea is if we can identify through molecular analysis who are the responders, who are the non-responders just won't get that therapy. Therefore, the payers don't pay for it, patients don't have to go through regimens that don't work, and the providers have better outcomes for the patients. Everybody wins in that scenario. In closing, the scientific community is dealing with huge growth in data, and everyone's hearing big data this, big data that, right? Where we actually have a differentiator in the industry. It's a couple things. It's the complexity of the data, or actually more importantly, the complexity of the queries you have to run in order to find these unknown or new discoveries within the data you already have. I think that's a huge benefit. What customers have said, whether they're looking at competitive intelligence looking just at clinical trials data. How can I find out who's doing what with whom and where and what disease area, et cetera, so I can validate some of my clinical development decisions, right? So you're going to do things you couldn't do before with the data you already have. And then the final thing is you can really accelerate your research, whether it's a molecular basis of disease, it's new drugs to market, it's drug repurposing, it's drug rescue. But the idea is, instead of your scientists asking for a query and coming back and getting answers a day, a week, 8 hours later, you're getting near real-time results. And that becomes increasingly important when you're working with doctors at bedside. And you can compare your patient that you're working with to 10 million patients in your network and know exactly what cohort they belong to, so you can advise the physician about what might be a good course of action for that patient. You need a real-time answer. You can't wait 6 hours. Our technology and what we are able to do is actually bring that vast amount of data together so that scientists, researchers, analysts can look at that data and make better decisions and actually find these unknown connections.